So coming into your nice comfortable spot on your mat, if you have handy anywhere, just grab a few blankets and pillows and cushions, because you're going to use them to prop up the knees, to sit up on a cushion as well if you need it, if you want it. If it's in any way chilly, grab a blanket, throw it around your shoulders. I've got my lovely little kind of cloak on today. And it's all about getting yourself really comfortable. Throughout the practice as well, you're following your own guidance, your own inner voice, your own intuition as to what feels right for you. So if anything feels at any stage too much, or just you're actually really comfortable in a posture, you can absolutely stay there. This is about spending 30 to 40 minutes really nurturing yourself. And we do a little bit of groundwork at the beginning, and then we do a little bit of relaxation at the end. So to start with, you're coming into either a easy cross-legged pose with the pillows propped under, or if you'd like to, you can lie back on the floor, put your feet up on a chair or on a couch. But either way, you're making sure that you're warm underneath. You're not feeling any cold coming up through the floor, and you're not feeling any cold on your back. And then resting the palms either on your tummy if you're lying down, or you can rest the hands just on your lap, whatever's most comfortable, so that the upper arms and the shoulders are just hanging away down from your ears. That's lovely. And then just closing over the eyes, or else a gentle gaze down towards the floor. Just softening the gaze or softening the muscles around the eyes. And take a nice big deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And once more, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And bringing the hands together, just rubbing the palms of the hands together to really sense the feeling, the sensation of the skin on your fingers, on your fingertips, the shape of your fingers, the shape of the palms of your hands, the temperature of your hands. And gently place the hands at the top of the head. Again, your eyes are closed, so you're connecting into the body. You're just gently placing the hands on either side, the top of the head. Just a little gentle pressure you can feel from your hands, and you might feel the temperature of your hands. Just a comforting little hold of the scalp, and noticing the tenderness and the sensitivity of your head. And then bringing the hands around to the front of the face, cupping the hands over the eyes, just enjoying the darkness over the eyes, and noticing how the eyes are feeling. So if the eyes are tired, or if they feel dry, or if they're feeling completely okay, just noticing what that is like for you today. And bringing the hands down on either side of the face, cupping along the jawline. Noticing if you're clenching your teeth, or if your tongue is relaxed in your mouth. Is there anything you can do just to soften the muscles of the face at all? And then bringing the hands down on either side of the neck or throat, or if that's uncomfortable, you can hold the hands slightly away from the neck or the throat. But just tuning into whether or not you're thirsty, what your pulse may be like. You might be able to feel the pulse, if it feels a little bit skippy, or if it feels completely normal, or the absence of finding the pulse. You know that it's there. And it's just noticing how the neck and the throat are feeling, especially with the change in weather. Your glands are here in the neck, and sometimes if the stress is high, you can feel them a little bit swollen. So it's acknowledging how the glands are feeling today, and how you're feeling, how your throat is feeling, how your breath is, how your swallow is. And then bringing the hands to rest over the heart for a moment. Feel that weight of the hands over the heart. And take a nice big deep breath in. Feel the chest rise as you breathe in. And if you can this time, breathe out through the nose as the chest falls. And then the left hand on the tummy, the right hand on the heart, bowing the head for a moment. And just notice, without any effort, without changing anything, does your hand rise on your tummy as you breathe in? And if not, could you maybe during the practice explore the possibility of the tummy muscles softening to allow the two hands to rise even slightly as you breathe in. And then just gently falling as you breathe out. Bringing the hands together in prayer position in front of the heart center, pressing the thumbs to the breastbone or to the heart and bowing the head for a moment. And acknowledging or noticing whatever the body gave to you there, if anything. And if it didn't give you any sorts of messages at all, that's absolutely fine. It's just about connecting with either the sensation of the hands in the different places, or maybe there's an acknowledgement of, oh, I have a little bit of a tension around the shoulders or a headache, or I'm feeling wonderful today. Whatever it might be, it's acknowledging that. Setting yourself maybe a little intention for the practice. Whether it's to take a little time out during the morning just to relax or to deepen a stretch, whatever it might be, connecting with the breath with all of the movement that we do. And then just gently opening up the eyes, extending the arms forward and up overhead and breathing out, bringing the arms back down by the sides again and extending them back behind you. So breathing in, sweeping the arms up, lifting them up, looking up at the hands. Breathing out, bringing them back down by the sides and extending them behind. This time bringing them back to center, sliding one hand out to the side. The other hand is coming onto the hip. Now slightly bend that arm that's down on the floor and turn your head to gaze at the bent elbow. Now you're making sure that those knees and hips are not lifting up while you get a nice side stretch. So your hips and knees are heavy, staying center. And then when you're ready, reaching that arm up towards the ceiling and feel the stretch from the hip right through to the fingertips. Try to draw the shoulder blade down the back. And then when you're ready, bring the arm overhead and feel the space increase in between each and every one of the ribs. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in a word, maybe the word peace. Breathing out the word calm. And then when you're ready, coming back upright again, let that hand float down to the floor and we do the other side. So you get yourself into position first. The knees are heavy, centered, hips are heavy, hand on the hip, looking over the shoulder. And then when you feel that your knees are relaxed, then you bring the arm up towards the ceiling and reach that hand up towards the ceiling so you can feel the stretch from the hip right up to the fingertips. And then bringing the arm overhead deepens that stretch and softening into it. So make sure the shoulders aren't creeping up, that the shoulders are staying sliding down the back. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Breathing in the word and breathing out the word, whatever word resonates for you. And then bringing the arm back up towards the ceiling, allowing that hand to float down onto the floor. Breathing in, sweeping both arms up overhead again, lifting up out of the pelvic bowl. And as you breathe out, you're bringing the hands down and across onto the knees and just hinging forward at the hips. The gaze is down towards the floor. Relax the shoulders, head and neck. And bringing awareness to if you're holding on at the tops of the legs or in the glutes, or across the upper or lower back, is there anything that you can do to soften, like softening the shoulders? With each breath out, you're just releasing a little bit more. So if you're tightening the tummy, because we tend to tighten the tummy in the tops of our legs when we're doing a forward fold, just notice if that's happening for you and if you can maybe just soften the tummy muscles and allow yourself to release forwards. And then with the next breath in, you're going to bring the arms back up towards the ceiling again, uncrossing them, looking up at those hands. And then breathing out the next time, the hands are going to cross over again, but the opposite hand is at the front this time, holding the opposite knees and hinging forward at the hips, gazing down at the floor, softening the shoulders, the lower back, the upper back, connecting with the breath, breathing in one word, breathing out the other. And if the words don't resonate with you, then you can also count. So you can breathe in for the count of 4 and breathe out for the count of 4 if you prefer. And the next time you breathe in, you're lifting up the head and shoulders, bringing the arms up towards the ceiling again, looking up at those hands, Keep the hands up for a moment. The arms are at a slight angle and check that those shoulders are coming down away from the ears. You're imagining that you're holding a great big beach ball and you're trying to stretch up to hand it to somebody up there without lifting up the knees or the hips. They're trying to stay nice and heavy on the floor. And then the next time you breathe out, bringing the hands back down by the sides again. So if you have cushions or anything underneath the knees, you can just take them out of the way. Use your hands to help the knees up and stretch those legs out in front of you. Give those legs a little shake and a little rock from side to side. Get the blood back in there. I'll take off my Richie Poo socks. My stripy Richie Poo socks. Now I'll move back a little so that you can see my feet. We're going to do a little work into the feet. Really important to never ignore the feet or the hands, especially at this time of the year. So as we're sitting here, and again, you can use a little cushion at the back to help prop up the spine if you need to, but we're sitting in Dandasana, staff pose. So the legs are very slightly separated. You could even have them at hip width distance apart. Toes are pointing up towards the ceiling. And bring the hands to the outside of the hips. Now, the hands are not pressed down onto the floor. They're just up on the fingertips. And you're sitting up nice and tall. So imagine your pelvic bowl is just the point of connection for the upper half of the body lifting upright. And you're just breathing in here. Looking at the toes and just see if you could possibly wiggle your toes. And if the toes don't wiggle, because sometimes they don't for people, that's okay. Just imagine them wiggling. Now, keeping this nice upright posture, lifting up the hands and wiggling the fingers. You might hear a couple of little clicks and cracks, that's okay. And then squeezing the feet and squeezing the hands and then releasing them. Try to spread out those toes as much as you can. And then once more, squeezing and releasing. Now, closing the fists and roll those wrists in one direction. And then change direction. And we're going to do the same thing with the ankles. So now nice little circles with the ankles and changing direction again. Lovely. Then point the feet away. You can point the fingers away and then bring the toes towards you and bring the fingers towards you. So just pointing away, bringing it towards you. Turn the hands the other way as well. So doing your Spider-Man wrists while you point your toes away and then bring the hands towards you and the toes towards you. And again, Spider-Man wrists. And then bring the toes towards you and shake out the hands. We'll just do a little into the hips. I want to make sure we've plenty of time. Now bringing the left knee in towards the chest. You can take your hand onto the bottom of the foot, pressing the knee outwards. So you're rotating the hip. And if that's as far as is comfortable for you, that's okay. You can just kind of maybe rest the opposite ankle above the knee of the other leg. Or else if you can get your hand in underneath the calf, to just cradle the arm or cradle the leg. We're just going to rock from side to side to get into that hip. And again, you can hold the outside of the knee if you like, but just make sure you're supporting the knee and the ankle. So you're not trying to force the knee out of line with the ankle. And just rocking from side to side. If you feel that you want to hold it out to one side for a moment, you can do that. Or if you want to bring it across, you can do that. And then place the foot back down on the floor. Extend it out and do the other side, bringing the knee up, hugging it in just for a moment, getting that adjustment. And then when you're ready, just holding the outside of the ankle, pressing the inside of the knee to rotate the hip. And if you have knee issues, a lot of the times it can be from a hip alignment issue. So just keeping the knee, ankle and hip together in any movement is critical. So bringing the arm under again or just holding the outside of the ankle and outside of the knee, just rocking from side to side. So getting that nice flexibility and a little bit of movement into that joint. You can just even do a little circle. Depending on how the leg muscles are feeling, you might feel like you need to bring it across or bring it out. And you're working towards cradling it in your forearm. And then placing the foot back down, extending out. Give the legs a little shake and a little rock from side to side. Now, we'll do a little seated twist here. So bending up the right knee, the left leg is extended. You're going to bring the right foot across the left leg. And if this is where you want to stay, you can hug that right knee with the right arm to look out over the left side. However, if you'd like to go a little bit deeper, you can lean over to the left side to bend the straightened leg to come in underneath your hip and then come back upright. Now, if you're doing this and you need any support under the back foot, just stick a blanket underneath there. The other foot should be flat on the floor and you're sitting up nice and tall. So your hip is completely exposed and you're hugging that knee in with the same side arm and just opening out to the side. You could even maybe bring the elbow to the inside of the knee and just staring out on the side where the foot is flat on the floor and the knee is raised. And just breathing here for a couple of breaths. And when you're in these postures, you're connecting with the breath in, softening the belly as you breathe in. So the belly kind of expands if you can. And then as you breathe out, you're drawing the belly all the way in. Now, if you feel that with this twist, you're a little bit uncomfortable, you can lean back a little bit as well. You know, because sometimes our tummies feel like they're in the way. And we're going to come back to the center. We're actually going to twist the other way as well. So you need to maybe lean back a little bit to give yourself a little bit of space. Let me get that cushion out of the way. So give your tummy a little bit of space. The foot stays on the floor. The other hand comes to the outside of that knee, or just even hug the knee into you and turn the other direction, looking over the shoulder. And connect with the breath. So you're working deep into the hips. A lot of hip rotation going on here and a nice spinal twist. So it helps to wake you up as well. And then coming back to center again. Now the way that we come out of it is the same way as we went in. So lean over to the side if your leg is bent underneath. Straighten that leg out. Come back upright. Uncross the top leg. And then straighten the leg out. Give your legs a little shake, a little rock from side to side. Bending up the left knee. Make sure you're getting into position. So that leg that's extended along the floor, the toes should still be pointing up towards the ceiling. You're crossing the foot over. Knee is still pointing up towards the ceiling. Leg is still extended. If you're staying here, you're just hugging the knee in. We can still do the twists on both sides. Otherwise, you're leaning over to the side where the foot is placed on the floor in order to bend that straightened leg in underneath the hip, and you're coming upright in an upright seated position. So we're first of all turning to the side where the foot is placed on the floor. So you can just bring the fingertips behind you to give you a little bit of a prop, and the front arm can come to the inside of the knee. The knee and the arm are kind of pressing against each other. So that knee keeps trying to go up towards the ceiling, and this arm is helping to twist the upper body. And your gaze goes in the same direction as the front of the chest. So breathing into this. Sitting up nice and tall, and you do a body scan with each of the postures as well. So you're noticing, how does that feel? Am I gripping in my knee? Am I gripping in the hip? Is there anywhere I can soften? Anywhere I can release into? And if there's any points that are particularly, challenging, sometimes it can really help to imagine breathing directly into that area and directly breathing out of that area. And then releasing back to the center again. This time you're hugging the knee with the opposite arm. And if it's a little uncomfortable on the tummy, just lean back a little. Let your tummy free to come around the leg. And you can hug that knee in and look in the opposite direction. So you're opening, twisting onto the other side. If you're very stable and flexible, you can always bring the elbow to the outside of the knee here as well. So whatever feels right for your body. But softening the knees, softening the hips, softening the midsection, allowing yourself to release through that twist. And then coming back to the front again. And we come out of it the same way we went in. So leaning over to the side, extending that straightened leg along the floor, Uncrossing the top leg, straighten the leg out, give your legs a little shake, little rock from side to side. And then bending up both knees, I want you to drop the knees out to the side, soles of the feet together, and holding around the outsides of the feet. You're trying to open up the soles of the feet as if to look at a book. Your elbows are working towards coming to the insides of the knees, but don't worry if they don't reach there. You're lifting up out of the pelvic bowl, and then your gaze is down towards your feet. And trying to soften, softening into the hips, softening the lower back, releasing forward. Make sure that those shoulders are coming down away from the ears as well. And breathing in, lifting up the head. And you can use your hands to help the knees up. Bring the hands over to the side, sweep the knees under. And we're going to do a little bit of a flow from cat and hare to downward dog. Okay, so the way that we do it is we start on the knees. If there's any discomfort in the knees, just put a blanket underneath the knees. Okay, so we start sitting on the heels, and again, if there's any discomfort underneath the feet, put a blanket underneath the feet or on top of the heels as well as underneath the knees. Breathing in, we bring the arms up towards the sky. Breathing out, we bring the arms and hands down onto the floor, reaching forward into hare. The gaze is down at the floor. Breathing in, we come up into cat, so we're arching that spine. Breathing out, we tuck the toes under and lift up the hips and press back into downward dog. And then we're coming forward again, dropping the knees down into cat. Sitting back on the heels into hare, reaching the arms forward. And then lifting the arms back up towards the sky. And hands come down into prayer position. So we do that again. Breathing in, arms up. Breathing out, hare. Breathing in, cat, arch back, and then lifting up and back into downward dog. Now forward again, dropping down into cat, sitting down, reaching forward into hare, and then arms up again towards the sky. And hands down into prayer position. And just see if you can do it yourself. You can glance at me at any stage. It's a lovely way to get your mind focused on a number of postures and focusing on breath in with one, breath out with the other. And it's okay, there's no hard, fast rules. Just, going with your own flow in your own time. So breathing in. And hare. And cat, and dog, and cat, and hare, and sky. And do it one more time yourselves. And then when you're finished, coming down to sit on the heels again. Knees pointing forward, just resting the palms on the fronts of the thighs. And just allowing the breath to come back into a nice settled pattern. Again, noticing how you're feeling throughout the body, if anything sort of arose for you there. And breathing in, sweeping the arms up overhead, breathing out, leaning forward to the center. So you're trying to keep the hips back towards your heels as much as possible. Arms are reaching forward, your gaze is down towards the floor. The ears are in line with the upper arms. And then walking the hands over to the left-hand side. So keep the hips and knees pointing forward, but reaching the hands over to one side to do a lovely deep stretch along one side of the body. Walking the hands back to the center, reaching over to the right-hand side. And bring the hands back to center again, reaching the hands forward as far as you can, just relaxing the head, neck and shoulders. And then breathing in, sweeping the arms up towards the ceiling. And breathing out, bring the hands back down into prayer position. So coming back up into cat, or into tabletop, we'll do cat, cow. So breathing in, checking as well, first of all, checking that your alignment is completely comfortable. So your first fingers are pointing forwards to the top of the mat. And the palms of the hands are flat on the floor. You might even have a little gentle lift within the palms of the hands. The insides of the elbows are facing towards each other and the knees are in line with the backs of the wrists. And check, when you plant between your knees, you shouldn't be able to see the lower parts of your legs. So nice, drawing in the belly for a nice flat back. And then breathing in, lift the tailbone first to drop the tummy. Roll the shoulders open and lift the head. And then breathing out, tuck the tailbone under, arch the spine and drop the head. Breathing in, lifting tailbone, drop tummy, open the shoulders, lift the head. Breathing out, tuck the tailbone, arch the spine, drop the head. So doing that in time, your own breath, your own flow. Feeling the openness of each of the vertebrae at the front of the body and then at the back of the body. With that lovely cat-cow flow. And when you're ready, coming back into tabletop again. And sliding the hands forward, just very slightly, a little bit wider. We're going to do a lovely figure of 8 shape. Again, to connect into the lower back and the hips. We're bringing the upper body forwards in a nice circle at the top. And then in the middle, we drop the hips back into a circle at the back. So we're doing a figure of 8 with the torso. Breathing in at the front, and breathing out at the back. Breathing in at the front and out at the back. And then when we come to center, changing over again. So you're going back first in the opposite direction, drawing that number 8 with your body in a different direction. And once again, really try to connect the flow of movement with the breath. You might even bring the movement of the shoulders in with it, and the hips. Getting a nice fluidity to the flow. And then when you're ready, sitting back onto the heels, bring the big toes together. Bring the knees wide on the mat. Big toes together, sitting back on the heels, reaching the arms forward, little fingers out to the outside edges of the mat. And your upper body is just resting down towards the floor. The elbows are up off the floor. Allow the breath to come back into a nice gentle flow. And bringing the upper body forward, you're bringing the hands back a little again and bringing the knees more in line. And you're still going to be wider than the tabletop because we're going to do a little bit of work With dropping the hips forward into upward facing dog and then pressing back again towards the heel into hare. So breathing in, coming forward, pressing the heels towards the floor, opening up the front of the chest, and then pressing back, rolling the back all the way down to the heels as you breathe out. And even when you start to come forward, you could drop the elbows down onto the floor as if sliding the upper body between the forearms before you lift the elbows up off the floor. Coming into upward facing dog, rolling back to hare. And just do this twice more, sliding forward. And even if you want to stay in upward facing dog for a moment, maybe lift the knees up off the floor. But again, checking in with how you're feeling in your body. Otherwise, you're just dropping the hips towards the floor, opening up the front of the body and rolling the back all the way down to the heels. Once more, sliding forward, just opening up the front of that body and rolling all the way back towards the heels. And sliding the hands back towards the knees, and you're going to come down into a lying position on the floor. If you can, if you have the room, just start in a sitting position and tuck the knees in towards the chest and just see if you could allow yourself to roll backwards. Use the legs as a little bit of a lever to roll backwards and forwards. It's a really nice way to start to work on your tummy muscles, but also to massage your back. And see if you can go as slowly as you can. So slowly and with control, coming up and down. And don't worry if it's not working. You can just come down onto your back and roll back up again if you like. And just playing around with it a little. And then the next time you roll back, just resting there, bring the knees into the chest. Just rock gently from side to side. Place your hands on the front of your knees so your fingers are pointing down towards your feet, and draw a little circle with the lower back in one direction. And then change direction. Place the left foot on the floor, bring the right knee into your chest. Extend the leg up towards the ceiling, trying to straighten that leg. And notice when you do that, does your foot start to go out at an angle? Can you rotate the leg so that you're looking directly at the front of your foot? And then your hand is resting wherever, above or below the knee, and bringing the straightened leg towards the upper body. Only as far as is comfortable. Keeping the foot engaged so the foot is always active as if it was placed flat on the floor. If you want to deepen the stretch a bit, you can extend the opposite leg along the floor. And then bending up the left leg if needed. Bring the right knee into the chest. Place the foot flat on the floor. Bring the left knee into the chest. Or opposite if you did it the other way, obviously. Straightening the left leg. Sole of the foot pointing up towards the ceiling. Don't forget to breathe. And again, checking the position of the leg. Is the foot rotating outwards? Can you look directly on, straight on the leg? The foot is placed very actively at the bottom of the foot, at the bottom of the leg. Bring that straightened leg towards the upper body. Straightening the other leg along the floor if you want to. Don't forget to breathe. And then bending up the right knee and then bring the left knee into your chest, hugging it in and then release and place it back down on the floor. Now we're going to come into Shavasana for the last 5 minutes. So if you've got some pillows to place underneath the knees and a pillow to place underneath the head. So with the head, the pillow is going to rest just below the tops of the shoulders. And then you grab the corners of the pillow, the top corners of the pillow, and you tuck them under and roll them under so that you create this almost like a triangle with your pillow, and it almost like hugs the back of your head. If you're not doing that, that's totally fine. Don't worry about it. You know, it's just an offering, an opportunity if you'd like to. And then cushions in under the knees to give you plenty of support. and a blanket over you to keep lovely and warm. So you don't need to do anything. I will watch the time and I will ring the little chime when it's time to bring the awareness back to the room. So it will be quiet, this 5 minutes, and allow the body to completely rest and settle. Fully supported. The breath is effortless effort. Just softly beginning to be aware of your surroundings and your senses, the sense of touch, rubbing your fingertips together, maybe the taste in your mouth, or if there's any smells or sounds around. Bending up the knees, rocking the knees from side to side. And just rolling over onto one side for a moment, just curling up. I'll read you a little poem called Trees. I could stay forever in their leafy embrace, the way they mind me, steady me in times of turbulence. Their sturdy bones are anchored deep in the earth, their arms are outstretched in joyous acclaim. They capture all that I long for, to be in the world unburdened, to shed often and bow to the winds of change, never wavering from the one who breathes life into my branches, the one who wakens me to birdsong and always nesting the new. When you're ready, just using the upper hand to press the floor away and come back up into an upright seated position. Keep the eyes closed and keep the blanket on your lap, just staying in your own space and enjoying the experience of creating this space in your own home. When you're ready, just bringing the hands together again, connecting back into the senses, into the body like we did at the beginning. Just rubbing the palms of the hands together, noticing the temperature, the shape, the feeling of the skin on the hands. And then bring the hands up to the top of the head, gently placing them on the top of the head. It's a little nurturing movement and a little nod to the end of the practice where we say thank you to the head and the mind. And bringing the hands around to the front of the face, gently cupping them over the eyes. Softening the gaze, bringing the hands down onto the jawline, hopefully a little bit softer around here if there was any clenching or tension. And then bringing the hands down on either side of the neck and throat. Again, noticing how this area that we use for speaking, nourishing, swallowing, it also connects the mind down into the body, the vagus nerve. If we can relieve the stress and soften the muscles around the neck, and this can help with the anxiety levels. And then bringing the left hand down onto the tummy, right hand onto the heart, bowing the head for a moment, noticing how the tummy is feeling, how the heart is feeling, how the mind is feeling, how it all connects with the breath. Take a lovely big deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. Bringing the hands together in prayer position again. Just bowing the head, connecting the thumbs to the heart center and reconnecting with any intention that you might have set yourself at the beginning of class. Maybe it was for the relaxation or just a little time out, whatever it was. It's just noticing what it was and acknowledging to yourself, I did that for myself. How important that is and how necessary it is. So well done and thank you for doing that today. And I thank you for coming to practice with me online today. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you, ladies.